going to get even more inspired and hear about how to navigate the winds of change in the offshore renewable sector. For that, I'd like to invite STROOBANDT to join me on stage. Good morning. Hello again. Hi, how are you? Do you want to sit, stand? Well, I'm going to sit. I'm going to grab the opportunity and have a seat. Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yes.
Nice to be in Paris.
Yes. Nice to have you. Now, you're country lead offshore wind development Belgium at Germany's RWE. But this is not the first job in the sector, your first job in the sector. You used to work for Siemens Wind Power as their CEO. You were also with Belgium's Energy Ministry for a while. And now you're with RWE. A long history, successful history in this sector. Can I just ask you first why you chose this sector specifically?
Yeah, so I studied actually engineering in the University of Ghent. And from that moment, I actually knew that I wanted to work within the energy sector, basically because I wanted to add in terms of adding social added value, sustainability. And it sounds perhaps a bit cheeky, but it is my inspiration or it is my passion. And I studied also mechanical engineering. I think also basically a male's world. I think we were 5 females out of 60. And then joined indeed more in the steam turbines, gas turbines, and then going into the wind turbine business, and then also for Siemens Gamesa, managing director in Belgium, also as one of the only female technical country directors at that time when the company started.
That must have been quite difficult as well, the only female in the room.
Well, yeah, but it has its advantages as well, so I can't complain. But I think to come back to the question, the main drivers, so sustainability is for me a key topic, but also having, really creating impact and finding a company which is in line with my own values. I find very important that the message that I bring is in line with how I personally also stand on the topic.
So you've got this passion for the nitty-gritty technical details, and then at several legs of your career you decided, oh no, I'm going to change jobs. How do you, I mean, it's really difficult actually to change jobs. Why did you take these decisions?
For me, for example, at a certain moment I took the step from Siemens Gamesa towards the cabinet of the Minister of Energy in Belgium. I think that that's perhaps one of what some people would find odd. But I did that because I felt within Siemens Gamesa I was not having the necessary impact anymore. But I did build up the whole company of Siemens Gamesa in Belgium. Onshore wind, offshore wind was really in a growth scenario. I learned a lot. But at a certain moment, I needed to say goodbye to my baby because it was really my baby, so I needed to say goodbye. And I chose for the cabinet of the Minister of Energy, again, to create impact. And I'm happy that I did, because I got to write also the hydrogen strategy for Belgium. I got to write really the basics for the offshore wind tender. And I think it's really valuable to be also as an engineer in the government, and perhaps there should be a bit more engineers from time to time in government functions.
And do you think that while you were with the government, did you manage to really make lots of progress or push for really sensible strategies in this sector?
Yes, I believe so. But perhaps also wanted to come back to a personal story, also to tell how I actually became, first of all, the managing director for Siemens Gamesa, because I think there's a lessons to learn in that. Because at the time of the carve-out for Siemens Wind Power, there was a lot of discussions on how to build a new company, who would actually lead the company, and that went on for months. At a certain moment, there was a need for a real decision. And there was simply a lunch planned with the persons in charge of that decision. And just before entering that lunch, I was kind of fed up with the whole discussions that happened before. And I said to the CEO of Siemens at that time, just before entering, look, I'm here. I want to do this. Yeah, think of me when you think of the managing director for the new company. And 10 minutes later, it was basically decided so. So it was also a matter of just stepping up, letting somebody know, and there's always people around you that believe in you, that want to support you, but you need to step up from time to time.
Yeah, you shouldn't be shy and just ask for things, right? Otherwise you won't get anything.
Yes.
Is that right? And so that's also your advice to other people who are thinking of maybe changing jobs, that they should just put themselves out there?
I would say yes, at least be prepared to say yes. Even if you would have some doubts, if you want it, you will learn how to do it. So have confidence. Perhaps also another story, at a certain time in my career, I was approached for another function, but very out of the blue. So it came as a surprise. Look, do you want to do this? So I said, yeah, I need to think about that. Give me some time. I don't know. And the day after, it was decided for a male colleague. So I didn't even have the opportunity, despite the fact that I don't think you should really make decisions like that on the spot, on the go. But it just shows that at certain moments you need to prepare yourself to say yes to opportunities coming by.
To seize the opportunity, really, when they come up.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a difficult thing, I find, right? Someone is putting something in front of you and you're like, do I really want this? And then how you make that decision is quite a process, as you just said.
Yes, and I think it's also a message I wanted to give, because I really believe in the value of a diversified management team, because you do make better decisions, because you take into account much more aspects. And I think as a message to managers who say, okay, we have a vacancy, so we need somebody to fill it up, don't just put out the vacancy. Go to people in your team, tell them, I believe in you, why should not you take that? Give them time to think about it, because it is a process, and by giving it time, by giving it sometimes that little push, you can be very surprised of people actually stepping up, doing a really good job, and bringing in different values into the company.
In that sense, do you think there should be, I mean, there are not many female leaders in this sector. Should there be more? I suppose you're going to say yes.
Well, yes, but I do see improvement. So
Okay.
I do think we go in a positive direction, but we are not there yet. And to be honest, it was also one of the reasons why, when, of course, the cabinet's work is at an end at a certain moment, because in Belgium you depend on the minister. So if there's a new government, you're out of a job. So I took the step back to the industry. And it's also one of the reasons why I chose RWE, because of the fact that they really look into female leadership, they really look into diversification, and it brings another culture in the company, which I really appreciate and which I now also really enjoy.
Looking further ahead, you've been talking about, you know, different moments in your life when you changed positions. What are you planning for the future? The sector is moving. Are you going to continue to move?
Well, let's see, but I will for sure stay within the energy sector, because that's really where my passion is. I do love the offshore wind sector. It's still quite of a new sector, and everybody knows everybody, so it's really also based on relationships, on trust building, which I really like. And I am a very huge fan of CFDs. In terms of mechanisms, because we are quite living in harsh times for offshore wind.
Right.
And I do believe CFDs are really one of the solutions, not to wait for energy prices to go up for industries and then having the necessary consequences, but really try and push for first having offshore wind available energy at a cheap price, so that everybody can electrify in the industry, and so that we can actually move forward, become energy independent. And I actually hope somehow I can also contribute to that. So people that want to work with me on that or have questions on that, I'm always available to give my support. So I hope to mean something impactful in that sense.
Yeah, feel free to go and talk to her after this session then. You're passionate about CFDs, you just said. you're also a very, a knowledgeable person about the technical side of things. Is there anything you're passionate about in the offshore wind energy sector, from a technical side? I don't know, are you going to say floating or something else?
I also come from Siemens Gamesa, so the direct drive technology I do find good. But to be honest, if you ask me a technology question, my heart would still go out to the gas turbines in terms of really impressive technology side. But of course, future-oriented wind power is nicer to work in.
All right, thank you very much. Very inspiring. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.